there's going to be a certain breed of people in this world that will not enjoy work. And by work, I mean the type of work you do for money. There's a certain type of person that will not enjoy employment of any kind. Because in this world, work isn't righteous if instead of everybody getting their fair share, we're only working as a means of survival. We're only working as a means of putting bread and butter on the table, aren't we? We work and toil, and our soul gets destroyed along the way just to sustain a living. While those who control this game, they have everything, and then some, and then more. They have abundance. They have unlimited opportunities. Somebody who merely works to survive can't take a vacation whenever they want. They can't eat the finest foods any meal of the day. They can't see whatever it is they dream of seeing in their life. If they're lucky, they may get that opportunity after they retire. They may get to travel and explore what it is they've always wanted to travel to, and explore whatever it is they wanted to see. By the age of God knows when, by the age of 65, at which point your body will be fighting for its own survival. It won't be what it once was. Your body will be decaying. And is that a situation that anyone who understands can work in? Is that a situation that anyone who has this type of knowledge can survive in, can strive in, can feel alive in? It's not. I try to take a look at my personality. I try to explain how I feel to others. People like to think that I'm an introvert or something. I just say I'm a disappointed extrovert. Because I try and find people that are like-minded, that think, that question everything. And I just can't seem to find them. You know, people are very programmable. The mind is a very programmable tool. It's able to run whatever program that is being installed within it, much like a computer. Although the mind is much more powerful than a computer, because the mind is natural. The mind comes from God. Computers come from man. I think back to when I was discovering how cruel people are as a child. All I ever wanted was a friend. All I ever wanted for years and years and years was just somebody to relay information to, engage in philosophical discussion with, and share memories. And I found some people that at the end of the day, they'd be more disrespectful than respectful, more selfish than righteous, more destructive than caring. And I think to myself, if I were spawned into a new reality, would I stray away from people with the knowledge that I acquired? Would I be more cold and more calculated, more aware that it's not even worth it to try and attempt to connect to others? Well, I think I would. In some regards, but at the same time, if I'm placed in a new reality, I'm still going to want to see how empathetic, how caring, how righteous, how philosophical others are. And if I get disappointed again and again, I'm gonna think to myself at that point, well, I know where this comes from. I've experienced this pattern of situations and circumstance in another lifetime. Talking to others becomes so tiring when you have a mind that questions reality. In a situation like this, you got to take Carl Jung's The Path to Individuation into consideration. You've got to question what makes you you. You've got to find your own fulfillment within yourself. And, the path of individuation can help somebody sustain a life within their own self. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't even have to stray away and individuate yourself if people had some common sense, some compassion, some empathy, some love. Because if they did, then you wouldn't really feel that need to break away. We would be growing together. Work could be so much more. Instead of working to benefit a few, we could be working to benefit all. Imagine a world where everybody's given housing. Imagine a world where we grow food as a community to share amongst all. Imagine a world where we encourage others instead of trapping them in a 9-to-5 grind. Let's say even you are at work, working a job at a convenience store or a local shop. Let's say for some reason you have to do that in a righteous world, and you're making a little painting behind the desk. You know what your boss should say and would say? Looks like you're making some amazing art. Hey, if you ever need an orange or a blue, I have a few. Need a yellow? Just give me a shout. I'll be a real cool fellow. I'll help you out. I'll make this painting of yours stellar. But a boss doesn't encourage your wants, needs, and desires in this life, do they? You'll be lucky if they could even help you get a vacation that you deserve, or a thank you out the door. In this world, it seems like bosses are more like sociopaths who use others as a means to their end. So to summarize, I don't really like to be bothered that much in real life because I can't seem to find anyone worth spending time with. Not by a notion of being egotistical or thinking that I'm better, or no. I guess it just comes from God. It comes from a divine spark that I have that I want to protect. It seems to me like not everyone knows how to protect their divine spark. I was listening to some content the other day that was suggesting that perhaps some of us, among us, don't even have a divine spark to begin with. Perhaps they're just bots in the system, soulless beings here to trap us. Those who do have a divine spark, here to bog down the rest, to crush our souls. But you know what? That's not even the case. The case is just that this system is so soul draining that unless you question it, you'll become victim to it. Unless you allow your soul to rise beyond the system, you'll be trapped, strangled, and crushed within it. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to accomplish. I want my life to prosper. I want my soul to grow by the time that this flame, this flicker, this life that I have extinguishes and I move on to the next. So many people in this life like to point to the Bible and point to how there's that verse that indicates that we should be people who take honor and pride in our work. And then they say, well, how can God, this all-loving, almighty being, wish us to take honor and work in this painful existence? How can we enjoy our work in this paradigm? Well, the Bible encourages you to take honor and pride in your work. It encourages you not to be lazy. But there's also a Bible verse that I learned recently that encourages you to break free from all bondage that traps you. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. So let us not be entangled ever again to another yoke of bondage. You know, before I've encountered my blessings, before I've experienced the love of God, I did think like someone who could be considered a philosopher, someone who thinks along the narratives of someone like Schopenhauer or Nietzsche. But now, the only thing I want is to be uplifted. Don't you see how those who are without God are angry, how they toil in their misery, how their life is fueled by rage? But those who are with God, those who have the light of Christ in them, they have nothing to worry about. Because of He who strengthens me. Because of He who strengthens us all. He who is with God will have nothing to worry about. Because the stress and the burdens of life are covered by the Lord. In closing, I just wanted to mention that for those who don't believe, that's your prerogative. That's the program that I have within me. The program of religion, the program of Jesus, you could say. But to me, it's more than just a program. Because no matter what program your mind is running in life, there's a fact, a dangerous fact, that remains at the end of the day, and that is that those who rule this world, the handful of people that control the politics, the money, all the wealth, all the resources, those are the same people who are worshiping the devil, who are bringing this world to destruction. They are the people who keep the masses in a nullified state so they don't question things, so they don't figure out the truths of life, so they don't realize the power of Christ. If they were to question, they would know how irrelevant those in power truly are. How sick they are, how this could change. All we would have to do is come together. The people are many, but the power is few. Doesn't matter whether you believe in Jesus versus the devil or not. Those in power know very well. And they're on the wrong side of the team. They worship the wrong entity. And I'm sorry for being a Christian amongst this massive world of chaos and confusion. I'm sorry that I cared, I'm sorry that I didn't want to see you down there in the depths of hell. Oh, please forgive me. I didn't want that for you for the rest of eternity. Because I love you. Have a good day. Friend, foe, whatever you see me as. Just know that I hope to see you on the other side. E.T. out. I just found something interesting. You know, the Bible is a fascinating book in the sense that even though you may have read the book to completion, you may have gleaned the knowledge in its entirety. However, a certain verse from the Bible may appear to you at a certain moment in your life. And it's as though you never heard that verse to begin with. It's as though you've never even saw the verse once in your life. It's as though you've never read it or come to see it until it appears to you at the right place and the right time. Of course, people call this coincidence, but us religious people, we like to say, well, that's not odd, that's God. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, over here, there's all this graffiti over here. You know, some crude graffiti as per usual. Then look at this. Galatians 5:1. What does it say above there? Freedom. I wanted to do away with the influences of the 9-to-5 grind. Ever since I discovered the notion that that's what this life is all about. I can't stand doing something that I don't particularly enjoy just to survive. If this world were a righteous place, then maybe I would have less of an issue with it. However, it seems to me like I can't even find people who respect me in the workplace. Is that too much to ask for, to be respected? Well, we can always dream, can't we?